We'll start our project by creating an empty Next.js application. And we can follow the docs here, or can simply utilize create next app, which is very similar to create React app if you're coming from React background. It'll give us like a boilerplate for us to get started with without too much effort. And it comes with a lot of flavors. So we can pick up any example that from this repository and use that as a boilerplate where we can start our code with. So we have a lot of examples here, but what we are interested with at this point is a custom TypeScript and our Next.js server with Express, which is this one. So let's just go ahead and create our example application with this as the boilerplate. So in order to go that, I need to pull up my terminal here. And since I don't have create next app globally installed, I can just do npx create next app -- example and the type of the name of the example that I want as my boilerplate. So it's going to be example custom TypeScript server and the name of the project that I want, which is Airbnb. Now this will make sure that my project gets pulled from this example as my base setup, and this will be easier for us to begin the rest of the development with. If you have any confusion regarding these configurations, we'll get into details of it as and when we use them. But for now, it should be very trivial for you to start with this. Now that we have the dependencies of our project installed, we can go ahead and open it in our code editor and start exploring what we have got so far. So I'm going to clean this up here and cd into my project, which I'm already inside, Airbnb, and open this in the code editor. Okay, so this is what we have here. I'm going to first pull up the package.json, which has a set of scripts, some dependencies, and some dev dependencies with this setup. So we can already see that we have Next, React, and React DOM installed in this project, along with their types installed as a dev dependency. This will really help us while we build this entire application in a TypeScript setup. And we also have a plugin for TypeScript installed, which is our Next.js plugin, which we should find inside our next.config.js. So in future, if you want to add some more plugins here, this is the place where we'll come and add all these configurations at. Next up in our package.json, we have these three scripts that we can run to build this project. So I'm going to pull up the README for this project, and you can also go through it and figure out what this project is bundled with. So we are using this example specifically so that we can use TypeScript both at the server and at the client end seamlessly. And in order to run this example, we can do yarn dev to run this project on localhost 3000. So I'm going to pull up my terminal here and run yarn dev to run this project on localhost 3000. So you can see that the bundles are compiling and it's ready on localhost 3000. So I'm going to open up in my browser. Let's just zoom in a little bit so that we can easily see what's going on here. So we have two links rendered as a list, and if I go to link A, my URL changes to localhost 3000/A, which is rendering the character A on this page, and I can go back and come back to my list here. So let's just try to understand how we are achieving this with our current setup that we got as a boilerplate from the create next app. All right, so I'm just going to close my terminal and open up server/index.ts, which has this entire code base, which is basically running my entire server on localhost 3000. So we can see that we are using the node module, which is default in Node called HTTP, to create the server right here on the port 3000. which is coming from here. We can also set it with some process env, node env variables. And what we're doing here is super interesting. We first create a next app with the configuration of dev as true or false, and we then create a request handler. So Next.js very brilliantly allows us to create all these pages and routing seamlessly with this pages directory. So if I go ahead and open this, I should have the index page A and B. These are simply the routes that we are seeing in our browser here. So whatever we have on the route B is basically coming from b.txs. B is coming from pages/b.tsx. You can see that this got updated on the fly. Pages directory will allow us to create routes. So if I, for example, if I just create c.txx here and import React from React, and then go ahead and do a simple thing to export a default component, which basically renders this out. This is page C, and I can then expect that whenever I go to localhost 3000/C, I should be able to get the content that I created. It's that simple. So all of these functionalities are being achieved via this app.getRequest handler, which comes with Next.js by default. Now we want to utilize this with some custom route handling in our setup. So we will basically match some path names and make sure that they are met directly with our needs. Now at this point, I can create another route here and handle it separately outside of our Next.js setup. So let's say if I want to have specific routes for the API, which could be localhost 3000/API, and I can just go ahead and just do else if path name matches with API/API, I will do something else. And here I can just make sure that I make necessary database queries and get the data and return relevant JSON to the user. This comes really handy when we are only using one server for managing our rendering plus our API routes. So that's why we are using a custom server with HTTP module with Next.js, so that we can get advantage of the server-side rendering with Next.js with custom route handling that comes with this setup. So in the next video, we'll basically get rid of this module from here and use Express, so that we can have a better development experience and cleaner code right here. And we can also take advantage of some of those additional plugins and modules that come with Express. So that's it for this video. I hope you understood why we are using this setup and how you can play around with it and customize it based on your needs. And I'll see you in the next one.